Okay, this should be working. I'm just gonna wait for it to catch up in the stream so I can actually say the audio is working or not. All right, let's mute that since it's good in order. Okay, just give a few minutes for anybody who wants to join in before I start. Man, it was a tough week for me. Just these past few days. Well, it's the same health issues I've been having since late of June. And yeah, every week there's 1 or 2 days which are really bad. In particular, yesterday was one of those days, and of course, that's why I canceled the show. I was planning to do one yesterday. Actually, this was supposed to be yesterday, so I'm moving everything. So for the few people that are watching, first of all, hi. And then secondly, today I'm going to talk about the news. I'm going to basically do the thing I did before. It's just like last week I missed it because I was busy. I was actually working on a film trailer. Mostly it's done actually. It looks very good. There's a couple of good tricks I used in it and makes it exciting. It's not finished yet, but I really needed that time. You know, if I do the show here and end something else, it's kind of difficult to spread out. Okay, just give a few minutes for people to drop by. Yeah, in the meantime, anyway, so I'm just not well. I had health checks last month, but it seems to me, even though actually nothing really was done, there was no surgery, medication is more or less the same, but suddenly I just started to lose weight. So I was already very thin, and then you keep losing 300 grams a day for no apparent reason. Then you have cause for concern. Just looking at this is peaking a little bit. Yeah, I'm you know, I take it day by day. Every day is different right now. It's difficult to say the least. Today is better, but I wouldn't say it's good. Last time that it was actually good was probably before, well, before that late June day. Come on, go away. Cats are acting up today. It's, I don't know, maybe the end of the week, somehow subconsciously they also feel in the mood for a party or something like that. All right, okay, I'm just gonna start, and if anybody else joins in, then great. If not, then it's gonna be recorded, of course, and edited later for the people on YouTube. So I'm gonna do a 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, and welcome to Age of Reason. So today I'm doing episode 7 of Age of Reason News, and so I'm gonna talk about the news over the past 2 weeks actually. So the last week I was working on a movie trailer, so I couldn't make it, and so we have 2 weeks of material. Let's jump into that. Okay, so as usual, for especially people who are new to this, I don't talk about the main news because you can just go to any big website and you can get your news from there if you want to. So I'm more interested in the smaller stories that don't get any coverage. And in fact, today, so we opened CNN, and what do we have? We actually see 2 entire columns of text dedicated to Trump. It's like nothing else is going on. I know, of course, a lot depends on Trump and the G20 in this case, but seriously, it seems every day there is 1 or 2 columns entirely about Trump. Obsessed a little bit, CNN? So I just wanted to show this because I found this very relevant. This was a screenshot I took a while ago. CNN is so obsessed about Trump that in their rush to write material for the website, they actually misspelled his name in the headline. So this is the first thing that people saw when they came to the website. And this is not fake. I took that. This is a screenshot that I took. And they, of course, corrected it, but unlucky for them, I got it before they did. So that's pretty funny. It seems that they're completely obsessed and mad about Trump. Anyway, they have this little war going on. And they're just in such a rush to create this material against Trump. It's really crazy. But anyway, I'm not going to spend any time on it actually. If you want to get these type of news, go to CNN or MSNBC or whatever. You know, these places don't need more money. I do. All right, so let's see what's in the news. Okay, I don't prepare these, by the way. People think that I might prepare it. That's not the point of this show. The point of the show is that just imagine that if you're woken up in the middle of the night and people start asking you questions, you didn't have time to prepare the answers. It's completely unnatural if you start suddenly talking about research material and stuff like that. You are not prepared. So we have to think as we go along. That's the point. All right, so there's this little article here. It says, this is in Hungary, I think, a museum accused of distorting the Holocaust, and this seems to be coming up more and more recently. In fact, there was another article I read recently that anti-Semitism is on the rise and never actually died. And so I'm not surprised that, you know, there are museums or just individuals that are distorting the truth because it benefits their agenda. They have a very clear agenda. We're basically jumping right back into the 1930s and just repeating the same mistakes because the average person is not very intelligent. So it's easy to brainwash these kind of people. And that's why history repeats itself more often than not. This one I just found a little bit curious. So this South American soccer. So this is a match between Boca Juniors and River Plate. I don't follow Argentinian soccer, but I know these teams, of course. So they had the first match and it ended in a draw. They were planning to do the return match, and then violence erupted and fans started to throw rocks at the bus, and some players got injured. Then they decided to not do the match, and now they moved it to Spain, so a neutral venue. But I just want to say this though, and this might offend some people, but you know, like I care. Sports is nonsense for the most part. It's good for you, your personal entertainment perhaps, but once it gets into big numbers and you get those masses of, again, people who are not very intelligent, who are not very educated, who don't know really how to behave. They in fact behave as a mob, as an angry mob. That is not okay. And sports is a catalyst for these mobs. Man, if we don't have these type of stupid rivalries. I mean, really, you were born in city A and this guy was born in city B, so you have to hate each other? This is even like worse than religion in a way. Or actually, it's kind of the same. You're hating people for no real reason. You actually come from the same country in this case, and yet you commit violence. Yeah, that's... I like some sports, but I don't enjoy that mob mentality. Okay, so again, it's gonna be edited, so don't worry about the long pauses. It's normal. There's this little article here. It says cyclist avoids train with no room to spare. I just want to say two things about that. First of all, well, you could see the train coming. I mean, the train is not like an ant or something. You can see the train coming. You don't have to cross. I don't know the situation, of course, here, but you don't have to cross if you see the train coming. The other comment I want to make here is actually, so I live in Japan, and what I notice a lot of the time is that when people are crossing the street, everybody is like consumed in this fucking thing. I hate this thing, actually. This is a poison to people. Some people use it for good, the cell phone, sure, to look for information or to listen to some interesting things on their way to work, on the way back to work, perhaps, although that is doubtful. Most of this, though, is a distraction. And if you're crossing the street, you don't even notice if the red light is on or not. Because you're completely consumed by the screen here. This is a drug, okay? The cell phone is absolutely a drug. This is an addiction that people have. I've seen people on a train who every 5 or 10 seconds, so they finish doing something on the cell phone, they put it in their bag. So for example, if it's a woman, she puts it in the bag, and then 5 or 10 seconds, oh, it has to come out again because I have to check. Oh my God, my life is so important and I have to check everything. Look, your life is not important, most of all. Most likely, most people's lives are not very important, actually. There's nothing that they will achieve in life that is worthy of remembering. So then to check your phone every 5 or 10 seconds, I mean, really, it just tells me that you're obsessed with yourself. The Deutsche Bank raided over the Panama Papers thing. I'm just going to briefly comment here. This is, again, not surprising. Germany is not much different from other countries. They had the big scandal with Volkswagen, I think, a couple of years ago, where Volkswagen was cheating the emissions or something like that. So I'm not surprised that, again, something in Germany is related to a big scandal. Well, this one is interesting for me because I'm an extreme amateur. I actually just have a simulator at home, that's all. It's pretty good, but of course, it's far away from the real thing. But at least I know where the switches are and stuff like that. So if there is an emergency, I will do my best. The question they ask here is it safe to fly the 737 MAX 8? Well, in reality, a lot of the airplanes that just come out to the market, of course, they are tested, but you're looking for a longer time sample to really test things. Oh, I really hate when it reloads this thing. Okay, just gonna go from here. So some of the airplanes, for a problem to occur, maybe it's gonna take 1, 2, 5 years, especially today with the computer system inside. It's all mostly automated. It's a lot of code, and sometimes there are errors in the code. In fact, there were a couple of accidents that I'm aware of, because I follow these things, that were caused by an automated system working and then the pilots not knowing how to react to it. So this happens quite a lot in today's era. So if you have a new airplane, new model rolling out, yeah, there's going to be a little higher risk attached to it than with, let's say, older planes that people know better. Just gonna open this one here because like I can read the text, but I'm just curious about okay. All right, so I'm just gonna, this is kind of hard to get in, but I think it's still zoomed in, so just, this is so funny that it's on CNN. Intimate photos of modern day witches across America. So CNN believes that witches are real and that magic is real. Well, it's not really surprising when, 70% of the nation is still Christian, and when a lot of people don't understand evolution and things like that. Not surprising that CNN follows the mob again. And now I think it's zoomed back out again. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Okay, it's still going on actually. Okay, all right. Okay, so this one, making iPhones in the US wouldn't be cheap. Well, yes. And this is an argument that I always hear from some people, is that we need to bring back the manufacturing jobs and stuff like that. Okay, fine. You can try to do that. Good luck with globalization. You can try to do that, but you're not going to find people who are going to work for $3, $4 an hour unless America just completely eliminates the minimum wage concept, when basically everything will be allowed. Well, then that could work. It would be competitive, but it's just not going to fly in the States. It's not. So I don't believe when people say that they can bring back these jobs, because nobody, look, Americans, like, okay, well, first of all, I need to specify, I guess, what I mean here by American. I mean, like a white American will not do certain jobs. They will just not do. It's the same if you go to Switzerland. In Switzerland, Swiss people don't work as maids. They don't go cleaning around places. This is for Portuguese people. Why? Because they work for less money. And in America, it's more the Mexicans. They come, they work in farms and stuff like that because they, well, again, because compared to their country, it's bigger money, although not always. And they do it. But like a white American will not do certain jobs. I totally just disagree with when people say that, yeah, give white, that's what they're saying. They're saying basically give those white people these kind of jobs, but they don't want to do them. They don't. and nobody's going to pay them well. Farmers don't want to pay a lot either. Some of these articles are just absolutely ridiculous. It's just such garbage. Shh. Could talk about robots, but not today. Well, this one, okay. This one is a bit curious. It says males may be more likely to become addicted to gaming, say researchers. I'm not really, again, I don't know why it's shocking. Do we really need research for that? I thought it's pretty obvious by this point. Most gamers that I know are male. But the odd thing was, I went to the one of the Final Fantasy art exhibitions a couple of months ago in Tokyo, and well, actually, about half the people were young ladies, young women. So that was cool. I totally enjoy female gamers. I'd like to see more. Of course, it's funny because nobody talks to each other here anyway, so it's not like you can just start up a conversation or anything, but I found it interesting. But it's true that, since the beginning of time, that the game industry was mostly designed for men. I took a computing course at university. 99% of the students of that course were men. So I'm not surprised. I think now women are more women are moving into the computer IT fields, and that's good. Depends which IT fields, because a lot of them just go into the support part of it, just answering phone calls and stuff like that. But I'd like to see more women programmers and, game designers and things like that. That would be cool. It will give a different dimension. Probably that's all for the thing. Oh, actually here, there it is. It's still here. Let's open that up. I'll fit that in the show somewhere. Is that the video? Why is that the video? Okay, so if this is a video, and of course it's slow, as always.
Memory of the Holocaust is fading across Europe, while anti-Semitism has a...
Okay, I really don't need to listen to it. I just need to see the... Nope. Okay, this is kind of hard to talk about this video. It's because it's all numbers and stuff. I mean, it's all kind of a mishmash. I think just from the article is better. Let's see. strange because I just contrasting. Okay. Strange. I just read it and then it disappeared. Here. Well, this is an article actually about the anti-Semitism thing, and it says here that 1 in 5 people of the responders said that the Jews have too much influence in the media, and the same number believe they have too much influence in politics. Well, look, first of all, it's nothing to do with race. I think the concept of race is stupid because we're all just human. It's one thing, one element. Yeah, we have different skin color, but we're still human. That's, we're talking about the same race. Whether some races are better than others at business, for example, that is extremely questionable. I think, you can argue that the Chinese people are very good at business, for example. They make a lot of money off bad deals. They've been doing that for millennia. But if you're in a position where you think that a Jewish person is doing good in finances and politics, and you're not, well, probably the problem is you then. You're not good enough. You can't work better than they do, and then you blame them. Oh, so they're better than me, so they must be at fault. It's not my fault. People never want to blame themselves these days. No. It's always blaming someone else for your own errors. Meanwhile, a third of Europeans in the poll said they knew just little or nothing at all about the Holocaust. So this comes back to what I said in the previous episode. Some people really don't know about it. They don't learn about it. Nobody tells them about it. Because again, these people don't read much. They don't really educate themselves. It's all just stupid Facebook posts, like memes all day long and taking selfies. Basically, that's how some people live these days. So I don't expect them to know, like, actually anything. About 1 European in 20 in the countries CNN surveyed has never heard of the Holocaust. Lack of Holocaust knowledge is particularly striking among young people in France. 1 out of 5 people there between 18 and 34 said they'd never heard of it. I just don't want to overspend this because this is not a case study. I mean, if it was the regular show, I could go into more depth, but right now it's more just general coverage. So if it's just the key points, really. I think that's pretty much it. I think I'm done with CNN for this week. All right, let's go over to the BBC. And I forgot something, so I'm just gonna insert it in here. So this week, for me, the biggest news was that, again, NASA, in this case, landed another probe on Mars. For me, the space program is always kind of the pinnacle of human achievement. You can talk about things on Earth all you want, but to actually build a device that can go into space, into a vacuum, and well, even more, to go to another planet and land something there, that takes a lot of skill and know-how. So the NASA InSight mission is going to do some research on seismic activity, and it's all in preparation for eventual humans on Mars. So right now they're talking about a moon plan. First we're gonna go to the moon, prepare there a couple of years, I guess, and then that's gonna be a platform to Mars. Well, I hope so. I hope it happens in my lifetime. Like I said, right now, especially with my health condition, I hope they hurry up, because who knows how much I have left, really. Okay, so let's finish off with the BBC for today. So let's see what we got. First of all, it's small. Can barely see that. This one is a bit odd, how kids see the future, but then it says, from an end to pollution to flying unicorns, what do 5-year-olds hope the future will bring? So, okay, now we're getting our life advice from 5-year-old kids. I mean, really, BBC? Is that the level that we're sinking to? Like, people get paid for this. People get paid good money to write this stuff, you know? People don't, I think, realize the amount of cash that flows in these organizations like that, or sports websites, just writing nonsense. And man, they probably earn top dollar for that. Oh, I had an article about that, but I can't remember what it said, so... It's a shame. Could have incorporated it here. Oh well. It's really not much here. At least good thing I spent a lot of time already on CNN. It's just nothing that I want to cover in particular here. I mean, trust me, you don't need me to talk about being buried in a chili pepper, okay? All right, well then that's it, because really there's nothing else here, so... All right, let me head back over to here. Okay, that's all for today's show. If you enjoyed the show... Okay, I'm gonna redo that. That's all for today's show. If you enjoy what I do, please subscribe and share on your networks. It will always help me. There are certain products that I sell. Please check them out as well. My book here, Beyond the Obscure, get it in both print or ebook. There's a bunch of different merchandise, shirts, cups, etc., which are just more my Frozen Frame production stuff. Check it out, and I'll see you next week. All right. Well, I mean that's all for this thing. Just gonna leave it running in case some people jump in for some Q&A or something like that. Yeah, just this week's news, pretty weird stuff, especially from the BBC. I really nothing I want to talk about. So So people who are wondering, like, for example, that's a good one to finish on, perhaps. So if people are wondering what I do outside of this, if I don't do the show, well, first of all, I suffer because I'm sick all the time. Secondly, recently I've been just working with 3D graphics, and I'm trying to have two computers that are capable of rendering, especially video in 3D animation. That would really help a lot, because that would cut down the time I need to do something. But right now I'm just focusing on images. Still images are easier to work with than video, and it just allows more space for experimentation. Actually, I always thought it's difficult to have a good picture. It's easy to have a decent video, but to have just one picture, one frame basically, and you have to convey everything in that one frame, a lot of emotion or whatever. But I think it's good training, though. It's everything I do right now is going to train me for later, for more complicated work. And there's a bunch of different tools people can use. I mean, there is Poser. I do recommend Poser for people who are starting out in 3D graphics. It's pretty simple. It's a lot of keyframe animation. The models are not bad, but of course if I compare them to what I do today, it doesn't look very good at all. There is DAZ Studio, so that's what I use now. DAZ is pretty good, and it uses the Iray rendering engine. It's pretty good, definitely, yeah. The difference between DAZ and Poser is kind of night and day, really. There are more advanced ones like 3ds Max, Lightwave. I don't really know how to use them very well, especially Lightwave seems a bit difficult. And of course Maya. Maya for me is the highest thing, which I don't even know how to use it at all. But Maya is also not free, I think. You have to pay. There's some kind of yearly fee you have to pay to use it. So anyway, if you're not a professional, there's no need to go to Maya. Stick in 3ds or Cinema 4D perhaps, and DAZ. Train yourself in Poser. And so, like the latest videos that I've done, especially with my films, I try to incorporate this 3D work into my films. So again, this is kind of all part of the training. I'm trying to gain skills to... the ultimate goal is to make a animated film. I want to get like motion capture suits and everything. It's going to be made by myself mostly, so it's a huge effort. I think it's going to be a good kind of last project to go out on, because arts is a difficult field, especially if you don't know many people. I don't have a big social network, so... And even if you meet some people, you have to really know them. It's not just good enough to give your business card to them and follow them on whatever platform. You need to actually talk to these people on a regular basis. Otherwise, you're a nobody to them. People like you, they know thousands, so they need a reason to talk to you in particular. Oh, it's actually a good time in general. So as I see no questions in the chat, I'm gonna end this session for today. Whoever was watching, thanks for watching. There will be an edited version of this next week, probably middle of next week. I need time to edit this thing. And then hopefully next Thursday and Friday I'm back to doing regular episodes. Well, we'll see how the health goes. This week was very unpredictable and, well, in a bad way. So anyway, thanks for watching and see you next time.